everybody, this is Kira's show here, and before we begin, I got a specialized coffee today, and I've never tried it before. Oh wow. Huh. Deathwish coffee tastes different than I thought. I'm a little disappointed. That actually instantly woke me up. Never mind, good money. Money well spent. Anyways, let us begin. Whenever we last left off, Uzuki had taken down the hero killer and actually gotten some credit for it. Now, I do believe that we have the I do believe we have the forest training arc, then the heroes the versus or teachers versus students after that. Now, let us begin. Everyone is on the bus as they are going to be going to going to the forest to train. Uzuki and Bakugo are actually hanging out and listening to music, as Momo and Todoroki are somewhat doing the same, talking with each other and actually passing, well, I want to say reading back a book Todoroki found. He found the book and he's found it to be something that can help her create things. A book of elements and probably periodic tables. Now, she was really fascinated by this and they were just reading it over and over again, finding some things that they may have missed or just looking over certain other aspects, as they would have arrived toward the cliff. Izuki and Bakugo being happy that they're finally at a break, they are relaxing for a second. As one thing would happen. As soon as the landslide begins, Izuki, immediately being confused by it, she would somewhat panic as Bakugo, he immediately just turns, grabbing her and jumping up into the air. As soon as that happened, Bakugo, he would be in shock to find that they're not falling. Which is whenever Izuki would just say that he can kind of let go of her now. As he would do so, finding that him and some of the other members of the class are actually floating in midair. The Pussycat member reluctantly saying that she wasn't aware of that part of her quirk. Looks like I'll need to research her a little bit more then. I suggest you do. You do realize that you just tried to pull down Trigon's daughter, right? Trigon's daughter? I thought she was Endeavor's daughter. No. Actually, we do have Endeavor's son in the class, but, well, don't mention that man to the boy. It's not an easy subject for him. Besides, he's lucky to have gotten this far without people ridiculing him for his father's actions. Now, with that, this would be whenever Todoroki and everyone else would be lowered to the ground by Uzuki. She would have done so, and she would have heard by Aizawa that they are going to fight their way through the forest, and Uzuki cannot cheat by making them fly. This is actual training. Now, as soon as she hears that, she would immediately coat her body in darkness and somewhat layered on like armor. As she holds out her hand, immediately trying to blast away some of the monsters she sees in the forest. Now, after that, Bakugo would have charged up to about 25% of one for all, and immediately begin by cracking his knuckles and getting ready, immediately charging in. Momo creating a cannon that she can somewhat lift and carry around, because I want to say she'd be able to at least create a lightweight cannon. Out of a metal durable enough to be able to take the concussive forest, but light enough, or at least lighter than a 400-pound cannon. Because I want to say she'd have something like that, but Izuki would probably help use telekinesis to make it lighter, if it would require her to make something that heavy. Now, with that being said, they would eventually fight their way through the forest and come out the other side. As they are properly... They have done this all properly. Now, Izuki, she has had a little bit of trouble because one of those monsters actually did give her a run for her money. But she shouldn't be surprised. This is supposed to be training, so it's supposed to be challenging. Now, with that being said, she would arrive and she would see Koda. She would walk over and immediately bend down, asking him if he's okay, or exactly what is his name. I want to say he would give out his name and actually say that, well, his name is Koda and he's just here because he got dragged along. This sort of confused Izuki as Bakugo would have walked over and tried talking to him, where he would get sucked in the nuts. Now, with that being said, I do want to say that they would all be given raw cooking material and make some food. Now, what they would make is something I'm not sure about, because I don't really know what Raven's specific tastes or interests are in food. I can just, I don't know why, but I can see them eating something like a pizza or something that's just not junk food, but just something that you can eat. So they would just make that food. Now, with that being said, they would also begin quirk training the next day. Izuki's quirk training is just a bit different. Now, what I mean by different is the Pussycat member with telepathy, she would link up with Uzuki, and she would be giving directions to every single person. Uzuki actually being able to hear everyone's thoughts, and even what the Pussycat member is telling her. Somewhat putting a lot of strain or mental strain in her head. Now, with that being said, she would be doing this for a while, and she's also extending her range of darkness, letting it release from her body and actually trying to figure out new ways to use it. With that being said, they would be doing this for the next couple of weeks as we will get over to the Black Forest training, the Forest Attack. I don't know why I keep calling it the Black Forest training arc. I think that's right, but I still don't know why I call it that. I usually just call it the Forest Attack. Now, let us get over to that. Everyone, they are doing the test of courage as they are getting ready. Uzuki and Bakugo are going first because people think that if they can't get scared by it, then they might as well not even give it a shot. But they are immediately interrupted by the League of Villains. Now, whenever the League of Villains attack, this is where things diverge in timeline. Bakugo and Uzuki are already in the forest, so they would have been a bit ready. Now, whenever it did begin, they immediately started running back to camp, because Uzuki started to smell smoke. So she thought something was happening in the forest. Now, afterwards, they would have gotten back, and everyone would have been made aware of the forest fire, finding that it is actually caused by a villain attack. Because the Pussycats, they're looking into the forest and they can find more people's brainwaves. With that being said, they're immediately asking if someone can go find Koda, which is whenever Uzuki would immediately just take flight, flying around to look for him. Bakugo, he's running on the ground, staying with Uzuki and trying to keep up, as he thinks that if he can find him, then they can get him back to camp and keep him safe. But if she goes alone and encounters a villain, well, he might use Koda as a hostage and try and capture her. So it's best not to let anyone go alone. Because if that situation does happen, he can at least try sneaking up on the villain. Now, with that being said, they would go off, and so does Bakugo and Momo. They're trying to find everyone in the forest, and they would find some members of Class 1B. Momo actually encountering the mustard gas villain as she would create a gas mask. And she's talking with Tetsu Tetsu. Tetsu Tetsu, he would show difficulty in the fact that he cannot breathe through the gas, as she would have given him one and they would immediately try finding the source. Todoroki would have split up, as he would have told her that he'll try and find the rest of Class 1A. Eventually finding the Shoji, I believe that's his name, and Tokoyami in the forest, with Tokoyami actually losing control. Now, with that is where Todoroki, he would have immediately blasted as much fire in his direction as he can, trying to help get him under control, as he would have taken out Moonfish. Now then, with that being said, Uzuki is immediately in shock at the fact that she found Koda, but he's being attacked by a villain. If not basically held hostage. So, one thing that has happened is she's immediately trying to get Koda away from him and figure this out. As whenever she is talking, she finds that the man's name is Muscular, as he would have taken off his mask, revealing his face. Saying that this boy here, his parents caused him quite a bit of trouble in the past, so he might as well finish the job. Now, this is whenever Koda would have been crying, as Muscular would just try giving him a toss, throwing him off the cliff. Uzuki would have immediately turned, throwing her hand off the cliff, as she would use telekinesis to levitate him up. Muscular, finding this interesting, would just ask if she is Uzuki, one of the people they're supposed to get from the actual forest. Well, I shouldn't be surprised then, as he would immediately rush forward, going in to attack her. She would have immediately just wrapped her hands around Koda as she does create a giant shield. As Muscular begins to try and smash through it, she would immediately try giving him a blast, as she would have blasted him with a full force of her darkness, sending him flying down, or flying a couple feet away, as he would have said that that's not going to do a lot. Immediately creating more muscle, this is when Rabako, he would immediately appear, smashing his hand into Muscular's face, throwing 35% at him. Now, Muscular, he would have immediately shrugged this off, as he would just tell Bakugo that that is not going to work, which would immediately shock him. Now, Bakugo would just say that cannot be possible. Kid, you really don't keep your mind open. Anything is possible. Now, as he would immediately just cock his arm backwards, throwing it straight at Bakugo. Bakugo, he's confused as Uzuki would immediately throw up a shield in front of him and stop the blast, or stop the fist. But it would collide with her shield, immediately snapping it in two, as she actually does feel the strain of it. She would immediately send out another blast at Muscular as Muscular turned his attention back towards her. Bakugo, he would have gotten up off the ground and immediately run in, immediately just blasting Muscular with his explosions. Actually trying to amp them up with one for all. Muscular would have gotten annoyed as he would immediately just turn his hand, smashing Bakugo in the chest, breaking a few of his ribs, sending him flying through the mountain. Now, Bakugo would have hit the wall and fallen onto the ground, as he would have gotten back up. He would immediately turn on one for all to the point where he is just having his arm immediately engulfed in 100%, as he immediately sprints forward using 35 in his legs, smashing his fist in Muscular. Muscular would have given him a compliment on the fact that that force, that was actually something. But it seems useless now. Muscular would immediately see Bakugo's broken arm, as Bakugo would have tried swinging with his other hand, immediately using his fingers. He's breaking every finger he has on his hand, immediately just smashing over and over again with 100%, as Uzuki is screaming for Bakugo, telling him to stop. Now, she would immediately just get up off the ground as she walks out of the bubble and immediately encases it again. Joining the fight, she'd actually fly in and immediately start attacking Muscular with her darkness. As Bakugo, he is having trouble. He immediately begins to try and use his feet to actually kick and do whatever he can against Muscular, finding that that's not going to work. Now, he would throw another 100% as Muscular's fist is colliding with his. Uzuki is trying to blast away at his arm to try and save Bakugo, as she is beginning to lose control. Her eyes actually glowing red as she begins to blast harder and harder and harder. Muscular just taking this and shrugging it off, he would immediately just throw his hand backwards, smashing Uzuki into the wall, as he is holding her by the face, saying that this is not going to work for you. As Bakugo, he immediately is enraged. He is trying to fight back with as much as he can, as he actually does feel the spark of 1 million. He immediately goes to that level as he immediately just throws back Muscular, punching him in the face, sending him flying through that mountain. Now, Muscular, he would immediately just fall to the ground as he is heavily injured, as Bakugo would collapse. Uzuki, she would walk over as she actually did get hurt and injured, immediately just running over to Bakugo, checking to see if he's okay. Bakugo would say that he's fine, he just can't move his arms. Bakugo, you just broke them. What was that? You threw 100% at him and he didn't do anything. But whatever you just threw at him, that was... I don't even... What? You said 1 million, right? Is your body able to even handle that? I don't know. Let's hope so. As Koda is crying, he would immediately walk over as he would just tell Bakugo that he's his hero. In fact, both of them are. Now, Uzuki would immediately just hold on to Bakugo as she would get him to levitate, immediately just heading through the forest. Bakugo is barely able to stay conscious as she's just holding on to him. This is whenever they would just have they'd be running through as they're trying to find everyone else. Mr. Compress, he is making his way through the forest as he would have gotten Tokuyami and Icy Hot. Now, with that, he is also looking for Uzuki because he did hear that that was a separate entity from her. Now, he would eventually find everyone at the base of the camp, as he's just asking around. Big Sis and Toga, I believe, along with the lizard guy, are all at the camp, as Uzuki would immediately blast away the lizard guy's swords and immediately come in, punching him in the face, knocking him to the ground, explaining to the Pussycat member that Koda is safe. Her and Bakugo made sure of that. They also took down a villain in the forest. Now, with that being said, this is whenever Bakugo, he would just walk out of the forest as they see Koda helping him move. Now, the rest of the villains are looking at this as they think that he just went up against Muscular, didn't he? But how is he still alive? Questions for later. Now, they would immediately begin retreating as Mr. Compress says that they got who they want, as he immediately holds up 2 marbles. They're watching as they don't believe it. So, this is where things are. Well, this is where the things have lied. So, this will not work. Now, with that being said, this is whenever Uzuki, she would immediately just hold out her hand, blasting at Mr. Compress as she rushes forward. She immediately gets close enough to where she's able to actually throw her hand upwards, knocking out one of the marbles out of his hand, as she immediately uses telepathy to keep it floating in the air. as she does try fighting with him. He would have held his hand out to actually go to Compressor, but before he can do so, Bakugo would have come in, kicking him in the face, knocking off his mask. Surprising even him, in Uzuki. She would have immediately told Bakugo that he needs to stay down and rest, as Bakugo would have immediately collapsed onto the ground. Uzuki would have ran over, getting the marbles on the ground, finding that there's two of them, not just one. Looking up, realizing that that one is a fake. So she would immediately just pocket these, if not put them somewhere Mr. Compress can't find. Putting them in her pocket, she would immediately go upwards, grabbing the one in the air, as she tells Mr. Compress that he's not going to get away. Which is whenever he'd hold out another marble. Now, she's a bit confused at what he means, but she would realize that that's the other fake. And that he is trying to figure out where the other real ones are. He didn't see her grab the two real ones. So, that is where the stalemate lies. She would immediately crush this one as Mr. Compress watches as it disappears, finding that she realized that that one was a fake. So, she has the real ones. Might as well take her in. As Mr. Compress will run forward, grabbing Uzuki but not compressing her. Aizawa is turning on his quirk as Uzuki would immediately bring her hands upwards, chopping into his throat and immediately punching him in the nose. Doing so, immediately making Mr. Compress gasp for air as she actually does knock him to the ground, as they now have to deal with the rest of the villains. Meanwhile, in the forest, Momo, she is running with one of the guys from Class 1B, as he has actually been trying to figure out exactly where to go. She would have created something to try and hold off the Nomu, or at least create a weapon she saw in one of her old books. A bolos and wrapping it around one of its legs. Making it out of titanium, the Nomu would have fallen to the ground, as it is trying to move. She would have been creating more and actually just keep throwing them at the Nomu, until it looks like a giant cocoon of metal. Now then. She's exhausted and she would just say that she's pretty sure she can at least create this, as she does try creating a tracking device. She would do so handing it to the guy as she pulls out of her pocket a protein bar. As she usually does work out at night, so she was going to work out after the test of courage. But it seems like this was a bit more unpredictable. She immediately begins to eat it as the guy walks over, tagging the Nomu with the tracker. Now, while that's all going on, Mr. Compress, he would open a portal. Mr. Compress would have a portal open behind him or underneath him as he gets sucked in. The rest of the villains immediately retreating. Now, as that happens, everyone's commenting on how the villains got away and they took the students, as Eraserhead's immediately pissed off at himself. Uzuki would somewhat smirk, saying that they didn't get away without one simple thing, as she would immediately pull out of her pocket Tokoyami and Todoroki, saying that she saw these on the ground and she thought they would be useful. Even then, it would have been, if they were the fakes, they would have at least gotten Todoroki or Tokoyami back. Meanwhile, over at the villain's base, Mr. Compress immediately decompresses his marble, as he finds that he just left empty-handed. And he's a bit mad at himself. But can't be blamed. He did go through a good trial, but his error has cost them one simple hostage. So, that is where we are going to be leaving things off, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. Now then, one more sip of Death Wish before the video ends. Pretty good.